last 2 centuries, stargazers in South Africa have played a key role in space research.
Proxima Centauri, which is the closest star to the Sun, was actually discovered here.
The tradition continues today, as South African-born Elon Musk is making space travel more affordable, and physicist Dr. Adriana Maree is developing critical protocols for human survival in extreme environments.
In terms of preparing for the first cruise that will arrive on the surface of Mars, Antarctica provides an ideal analogue.
Coming up, one woman's mission to get to Mars.
So we're here at the Johannesburg Observatory, and most people and even most South Africans are not aware of the significance perhaps of this facility.
This facility's been here for quite some time, since like the early 1900s, and Proxima Centauri, which is the closest star to the Sun, was actually discovered here.
In her own words, it's the aim of Dr. Adriana Maree to be the most eligible person on Earth to be chosen for the first flight to Mars.
I believe that getting to Mars will be the biggest possible contribution I would be able to make to the sum of human knowledge.
It's a mission she's been planning for as long as she can remember.
So since I was a young child, around 4 or 5 years old, I imagined exploring other worlds beyond Earth, our home planet. I was always a very curious child. I loved learning, I loved reading, I loved exploring. So when I went to university, I swore I would do something extremely challenging.
She studied physics, earning a master's degree in quantum cryptography and a doctorate in quantum biology.
This research took me back to my interest in space through looking at the physics of life, in fact the quantum physics of life. And there are so many gaps in our knowledge about how life emerged and what life is that I believe we will need to explore beyond Earth to fill in gaps in this data.
In 2015, she did take a big step towards setting foot on Mars, when she was shortlisted as one of 100 astronaut candidates for the Mars One project, a private venture whose mission is to build a permanent settlement on the Red Planet.
I believe that it's not unrealistic that the first humans will depart from Earth to Mars within the next 10 years. So if all goes to plan, I will be on the surface of Mars in around 10 years' time.
But this is a very expensive, risky proposition. While Mars One is currently on hold due to lack of funding, she has turned her attention to her own initiatives.
I founded Proudly Human in 2019 with the goal of developing capabilities, building infrastructure and community spirit in even the most extreme environments, whatever planet we're on.
Proudly Human's Off-World project will be a series of settlement experiments.
Over the next few years, we will implement several habitation experiments in the harshest environments on Earth, where we will have teams arriving, setting up infrastructure from scratch, and living and doing research in these extreme locations for the duration of the experiment.
Months before the global pandemic hit, Adriana traveled to Antarctica to plan what she says will be the greatest off-world challenge of all, preparing for life on Mars.
Arriving in Antarctica in December 2019 is the furthest that the allure of the unknown has taken me to this most southerly, most isolated, most mysterious part of Earth that not many humans have had the opportunity to explore.
When they return to conduct the actual experiment, a date that's yet to be set, her team will take everything they need with them and spend up to 9 months in complete isolation.
Temperatures in winter in Antarctica range between -60 and -70 in the interior, and this is the average temperature on Mars in terms of testing infrastructure like water systems. In many ways, Antarctica is a better analog for what teams on Mars will experience, being even more isolated than the International Space Station or even the Moon.
But the first of her off-world projects, which kick off later this year, will take place in a different, though similarly extreme location. She's not saying exactly where just yet, except that it'll be somewhere in Africa.
So we've decided that in the midst of the turmoil of this year and last, the time is now to launch our off-world project. So we've opened applications for crew members who have the expertise to arrive in an extreme environment with no infrastructure, where we'll set up camp, do research for several months, and then generate innovation and new ideas on our subsequent missions.
While her ultimate goal of getting to Mars is at least a decade away, for today, the aspiring extraterrestrial is just as happy to be spending time here on Earth with the next generation of space scientists.
I would really encourage people to question the whole framework, question the status quo. The big revolutions and the big ideas come directly out of asking the big questions. I feel we have a duty, living in this challenging era that we all find ourselves in, to work towards a better future, to provide inspiration for the young people who will follow in our footsteps towards creating a future that we can be proud of, whatever planet we're on.